Here we go. All right, here we go. And we are back once again, coming to you live from the Progressive Auto Sales Arena. Hello, everybody. I'm David Burrows and my friend Connor Burke.
Hello, how are you, my
You
friend?
just, I really appreciate you getting here because I know you just like worked hard all day and then you're
Right here.
But you're a loyal fan, man.
Oh, I had to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, of course, because last week we were playing Saginaw here, and or we went away and played Saginaw.
Right.
Sorry, I should say.
Saturday night.
And Caden Johnson, notably, the only goal, the first and only goal, and he's already got 3 goals this year, coming into today, right? And we'll
It's
talk.
awesome.
Yeah, no, and I know like you've been really excited to see this Caden Johnson do his thing, and
Yeah.
it's when a new player comes to a team, Connor. I think it's fair to say that a bar is set right away, and then if that bar is not met, it can be disappointing. But if it's met right away, then the bar gets set higher.
Yeah, I think he instantly becomes a fan favorite. Kind of like a kid with a new toy. We've seen all of our players, and we get a new guy in,
Yeah.
and everybody is hyped to see what they have to offer.
Yeah.
Especially not being able to watch London Knights. Well, not wanting to watch London Knights games.
There you go. Well, and he's talk about the starting lineups here. He's on one of the lines.
Yeah, he's on the starting line with Wainwright and Felak today. So
Yeah.
they obviously are giving him a lot of trust to run with what talents he has, and he's shown it so far. And why not?
Yeah, and you think that first line, that's a powerful line coming out the gate?
I absolutely do. Yeah, I think the second line is super skilled. Carter Kostic, Beckham Edwards, and Ruslan Karimov. They're all great shots and great hands. So I would like to see a couple goals out of them.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I'm predicting. Is that allowed or is that a jinx thing?
No.
I'm predicting that Caden gets the first goal of this game tonight
I could
for
see
the
that.
Sting side.
I could very well see that happening.
Yeah.
It's a tough team. They just won the Memorial Cup. They made a deep run. They lost to London at the end, but they're the hosts, so they snuck in and they stole it right off.
Yeah, they did, and I remember watching that, and I don't know if the camera guys were picking on London because when I think London really thought, hey, we got this in the bag, like we're good to go. Maybe they got complacent there, but they were, it's an emotional time for any of these players. But when you get there, you work so hard, and then it doesn't work out. There's a lot of emotion, but you could really see it on the players down on the ice, sitting down on the ice, and kind of just going like, WTF just happened here.
An absolute bummer. Yeah, I can't say I have much good things to say about them, but I was 100% convinced that was theirs to have, and Saginaw came back in that one game that they had, and they just showed them what they had. They're there to compete. They lost that playoff series, but it wasn't by much at all. They gave them the best shot out of anybody.
Yeah.
I think London swept the first 2 rounds,
Right.
actually.
All right, well, let's go over to our TikTok here for a moment and say hello. People are clicking the live. We appreciate that. And, somebody out there, Rory Tail says, go Ice Dogs. Good luck with that.
Niagara, they're not even here tonight.
Well, in Niagara last year, I mean, they were just horrible.
Yeah, that's a tough. That's a tough.
I'm glad we're not doing this for them.
Yeah,
that's hard to talk about, right? Auntie Toe is out there. She's one of our moderators on TikTok. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can interact with us on TikTok as well. Hello, Eddie. Eric's out there. We have got a goal to get, I think it's 70 TGIF out there. So thank God it's Friday. And we're looking for 70 of those. Would love to get that. Hello from Wallaceburg. Thanks, Eric, for watching. And for those of you watching on TikTok, please share this around so others can enjoy and appreciate that. We'll be here an hour before each Sarnia Sting home game, so we'll be here on Sunday as well. And then, of course, to all of our friends out on Facebook and YouTube. All right, let's get to the first topic here. You wanted to talk about Karsen Chartier going to Strathroy. Did this surprise you?
A little bit, actually. I think it did. I mean, especially he played 24 games last year. I mean, you don't want to think you cemented yourself anywhere because you get comfortable and something like that happens. But you kind of think he was a shoe-in, but he's obviously been outplayed by Evan Mallett, and I think that management kind of knows what they're doing. I don't know if this is looking ahead to a Saginaw trade halfway through the season before the overage deadline.
Yeah.
And then we run with Chartier and mail it towards the end of the season. I'm not in that.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not in that room, but
you
I
make
could see that happening.
you make a lot of good points there, Connor, because I think so far we were getting to Karsen being in between the pipes, and then of course we've seen Shuzichka there really show up for this team. Both him and Karsen dancing on their heads, especially last week and preseason as well. And I think you talk about like the players getting comfortable here. I think the fans get comfortable seeing certain players out there, and then all of a sudden it was like, what?
And he's gone.
Why would you do this? I saw a comment out there. I think it was Sting Nation or whatever, and they were like, Dylan Sika, don't send him there. Somebody said send him to the Sarnia Legionnaires.
As far as I'm aware, the Legionnaires actually aren't the farm team for the Sting.
Well, they're not.
It's Strathroy Rockets, and that's why. Well, we can pull up people from the Legionnaires, but we can't really send them down there. It's all right, but he's there with Chase gone now, and there's 2 Stings on the Rockets, so hopefully they have a good season.
Yeah. Back to TikTok. D-Rock, are you in the building? Play-by-play or the radio? No, we're not on the radio. We're not doing play-by-play. We're not allowed to show the game. We were allowed to show the preseason games. Kojiko, our friends at Kojiko Your TV, Terry Doyle, they have the rights to the game, so we certainly respect that. We were grateful to be able to do the preseason games. But I will be up here in between or during the games. I'll be doing a live reaction, but again, I won't be showing the game. And then Connor and I will be doing our intermission updates, which you can follow along with as well. Any more on Karsen that you think? They said he's on loan, right? So he's coming back.
He struggled at times, and I think this is only a good thing. He could just develop a little bit, and then if there's an injury or if someone needs to come up, then I'm sure he'll be ready.
Yeah. Okay, let's go on. What are we doing next year? So you got to bear with me, folks, because I'm producing and trying to talk at the same time, and
he's a jack of all trades.
I don't know. I'm trying. You wanted to talk. This is an interesting one. You wanted to talk about Michael Misa, right? Did I say that right?
Yep, that is. He's an exceptional player in this league. He's been around for, believe it or not, 3 seasons already.
Yeah.
And he has a record 7 goals over 3 games. It's the most by a player over the first 3 games of a season in the 22-year history of the Saginaw Spirit.
That's like gold medal stuff.
It's pretty noteworthy, I think. He's on an absolute tear right now, and I think he's only place to go is up.
So this is a threat to the Sarnia Sting tonight, then.
Big time. You have to watch him when he's out there. He's on a hot streak, and I'm sure he's just looking to add to that total.
Yeah. Well, hot streak is like it's momentum, right? When you get that momentum, I always refer back to the pulley. When you start, you got to really pull hard to get things going. And then once the pulley starts going, it's easier.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a second nature. You don't really
and you
have
just
to think
keep
about
going
it.
and going. And once in a while, though, there's a snag that gets into the pulley, and it slows things down. And then you've got to start pulling harder again to keep going, right? So in that analogy, I think, do you think, the Sarnia Sting is somebody, you talk about that first line there, especially with Caden. Do you think that first line and others on the Sarnia Sting are strong enough to stop somebody like Michael Misa?
I think so, for sure. I'm sure they've talked about it as well. Like Letang and his assistant coaches have definitely mentioned that that's a guy you got to look out for, and I'm sure our defensemen are going to be on him as much as they can be.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. But that being said, we love the Sting, but credit where credit is due. Congratulations to Michael Misa on being able to pull that off. And, that all the credit, I guess, doesn't go completely to the player. It comes from, the coaching staff and other supporters around them as well, right? Which, Saginaw is a strong team. They did go to the Memorial Cup. That being said, and we're going to come up in a little bit and talk about Lukas Fischer that talked about last week after post-game press conference. He said, yeah, but they're not a Memorial Cup team anymore. They've lost some really good players. Would you agree with that statement?
I like it. That's all confidence. You can't say anything about it. But you never want to discount a team that just won. They did lose some players, but that's part of their culture now. They went there together, and a lot of the players are still there. So they know what it takes to win, and I'm sure they're looking to do it again.
Yeah. If you want to keep updated on Sarnia Sting news and info, of course, you can go to sarniasting.com and find out all the latest news that happens, play-by-plays and replays, so you can check that as well. Again, at sarniasting.com. All right, we're going to move on here to, where are we going? This is one okay, it's my turn. This is a coach who cares. And this is very interesting because after, last week's game, coming in with great dramatics again, but we spoke to Lukas Fischer and Caden Johnston, and Caden was asked about the transition of coming to this team from the London Knights, and I've got a clip here, and this has been going kind of viral in Sting Nation. We're going to play this clip for you. Listen very, very carefully, and we'll be back.
Telling me little things here and there, and I felt really comfortable with them.
What's the transition been for you? I'm sure it's been a busy, kind of a whirlwind here the last couple of weeks with the trade and coming to Sarnia here. Tell us what it's been like here the last week or so.
Yeah, it was a bit of shock at first, but I was really happy. Sarnia is a great organization. Coaches really appreciate me, and it's nice to have a coach who cares, and it's been awesome so far.
Okay. He said it. I didn't say it. He said, nice to have a coach who cares. And did you notice Lukas Fischer's reaction to that at the very end of that clip?
Yeah. That's pretty shocking. I don't know if he chose his words carefully there or if that's what he meant to say.
Are we picking on him? But you know what? Like, meant to say it or not. I mean, there's an old saying is people won't always remember everything you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And it sounded in there to me like there was a feeling, and that's why he blurted out what he did, I think, was maybe there was a feeling. I mean, I don't know if he meant it that way. Sometimes we, the media, take things out of context. Don't mean to here, but you did see the reaction to Lukas Fischer there at the end where he kind of grinned. And, it was, again, I don't know if we just caught it that way. But it does say something to where Caden is here now with this Sarnia Sting organization. Both of you and I have been very strong feeling about Al Letang and the rest of the coaching staff, quite honestly. They all have to be on the same. But their philosophies that go into this team are calm but high expectation.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a slight to Dale Hunter, but Alan Letang certainly pays attention to every single player he has on the roster, top to bottom, if you're playing that night or not. And then maybe Dale kind of let him slip through the cracks a little bit, and that's why he ended up with very little minutes. But he steps in here, and he instantly walks onto the first line. So I'm sure that makes him feel like $1 million, and he has every reason to play as good as he has.
Yeah. He would continue on to say a little bit more here. I've got another clip. Here is some more from Caden Johnston.
Caden, I mean, what are you looking for here in Sarnia with your new team?
Team success first. I came here to help this team win, and that's the goal at the end of the day.
Now, do you see your role changing in all this with what you had in London?
Yeah, obviously a little more trust here, a little more opportunity, which is something that I really needed, and I appreciate it, and just got to go with it.
Trust and opportunity. I mean, that's something you just kind of talked about there. I mean, I think this holds weight towards maybe how he felt when he was with London. And I mean, it's no secret. We're not picking on you, Dale. But, and we have talked Hunter hockey. I mean, Dale's he's heard it. I'm sure he's fine.
I saw what he did to Pierre Turgeon. I'm not looking to get in any fights with Dale Hunter. That's the last guy.
Well, what was that? Oh, I missed that.
Oh, in the finals.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a bit of a cheap shot, anyway.
Okay, all right. It is what it is. I hate that saying, but it really is what it is. Let us know in the comments what you think about Caden Johnston's comments. And here on TikTok, I know you couldn't see that video on TikTok, but he seems like a good, I say kid because I'm old, but he seems like a good kid. And his heart's in wherever he is and has been. His heart really seems to be tied hard into those skates when he steps out on the ice.
Yeah, he's looking to perform. Like he said, trust and opportunity. Those are big, meaningful words.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's fitting in perfectly here. He's been given that, and he seems to that interview. He's smiling. He seems loose. That's what we're looking for.
And to be put on the first line, with those other two powerhouses that are there, that really sends a message, I think, from the coaching staff towards Caden as well.
Yeah, with so many talented forwards on our roster, like to walk on to the team and almost immediately get a first line spot that's pretty meaningful. Like that means a lot to those players.
Yeah. Now that being said, I know, like, seeing in post-game press conferences with Coach Letang, sometimes he gets asked, like, well, why didn't you play this one, or why didn't you give him that opportunity? And it was like, and I'll even go back to last year, but definitely last year, but even the year before when we were a much stronger team still, we had some really huge, opportunities for players to be put out on that ice, and they didn't get put out there. And then when questioned, why didn't you? It was a simple answer. You've got to go out every single game and earn. You got to pay to play, basically. Like if you weren't trying hard, just because you're a known name, I guess is what I'm trying to say, Connor, doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot on any of the lines for that matter. You've got to go out, and I call it pay to play.
Yeah, like I said about Chartier, he played 24 games, and you kind of think that you're a part of this team, and then all of a sudden you're not, because maybe one night you were on the back burner, or you had a rough night and you kind of floated a little bit in the neutral zone, and so they're watching every single play, and every single play matters. You only get so many minutes on the ice. You gotta make them count.
Yeah, and it feels. I think to a player too, it can often feel like I'm always trying out for the team, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you should feel like that.
Yeah, you don't prove yourself once.
You have to prove it every single night.
Right, 70 sometimes or however many games
that's
that is,
right.
right? Yeah. So, we're going to talk a little bit about refereeing coming up at the end of this here. We don't want to take away from any of the other players talking about Caden Johnston all the time, but he has earned a spot here on this team. He keeps setting the bar higher, which adds more pressure every time you raise that bar, but it'll be exciting to see tonight when he comes out on this first line and the Sarnia Sting come out the gate. Like any no matter what team you're playing, even the Niagara Ice Dogs, you have to come. Did I say that out loud? That was for our friend out on TikTok there. We're up to 1,000 likes out there on TikTok. Thanks so much for that. And we're looking to, we've got 15 out of TGIF gifts there on TikTok. Thanks so much. For those of you who are watching on Facebook as well, on my personal profile, you can subscribe to my Facebook. And you can also send stars as well. If you like the content that we put out here, we appreciate your support. But taken away from Caden now, let's go over back to the post-game press conference that happened last week. And Lukas Fischer was also asked a question about, this is when they won last week, and then they were going to play Saginaw next. And notably, Caden Johnston, the one and only goal, they lost hard 6-1. Lukas was asked this question.
Again, a team full of young guys. Now you got the Memorial Cup champs coming up.
What's that, sorry?
So what is it like for tomorrow night? You got a lot of young guys getting a shot at the Memorial Cup champs right off the bat.
I mean, yeah, we're not playing a Memorial Cup team. They lost a lot of their good players, so I wouldn't say we're necessarily playing a Mem Cup team. But no, it's cool, right? It's a good opportunity for some of the young guys to get some experience against a team that's won something, and maybe we'll be a little bit hungrier after. So it's.
Yeah, well, who was hungry?
It's an interesting comment when they come out like that, and they show you why they won the Memorial Cup. You, like I said, you may have lost some good players, but they went there. They know what it's like. They almost went the whole way without being a host, and that's a part of their culture now. You can't discount that. They know how to win, and they're going to look at every chance to try and do that again.
Well, that being said, I mean, Lukas has to go in there with the attitude of we're going to win.
Of course, you can't just lie down. But it was an interesting.
Well, looking back now.
Oh, just the way he worded it.
Yeah, like how do you mean? Like he's like, oh, whatever.
Just not anymore. I just kind of brushed him off. Not anymore. They didn't. I mean, that was only 3 months ago.
Well. That being said, I mean, you have that excitement from the community that surrounds, like any hockey team, I think. I do think Sarnia Sting has one of the better fan supports than a lot of teams. You just looking at preseason alone, you can see that, right?
Certainly. Yep. There's actually a website. You can pull it up. I'll pull it up for you later, but it's got all the attendance records.
Oh
for
yeah,
the-
right.
And unfortunately, Brampton is back at the bottom after their move to Mississauga.
Yeah. Well, that's probably part of that because of that move, etc. But yeah, we should get that up. We'll have to. I'll have to show you how you can access to. We'll bring it up here on the screen and show everybody. But yeah, so I mean, he kind of ate his words there a little bit, Well, a lot actually. I didn't watch the game. I just saw the highlights, and then of course it was like, oh, and Caden in there. That was his second goal with the Sarnia Sting and his third of the season already, right? I think.
Yeah, no, is it third and third or?
I thought they said third, but second with the Sting.
Okay.
So
okay.
before, I don't know.
I think it was just third, but anyway.
Okay, we'll go back and look. I'm old. I have a bad memory.
Oh no.
I blame everything on being old. Kristen on TikTok, thanks for the follow. And anybody else following out there, we appreciate that. We're looking for 70 TGIFs. If you can help us out with that, be great to hit 1,500 likes on TikTok. We've got about 5 more minutes to discuss here. And to all of our friends on Facebook and YouTube, thanks for watching. Listen, I've got this up on the screen, but you can purchase your 50/50 tickets online to support the Sting at sting5050.com, which all the money goes into the Sarnia Sting Assists, which last year I think gave about $250,000 into the community. So any of the support that you can give for that is greatly appreciated. I also want to take a moment and say thanks to our friends. Well, how do I do this? Look, I'm doing too many things again, Connor. I got to teach you how to do
Running
this.
yourself thin.
I am. Thanks to our friends at Hughes Intelligence Canada. We're up in their hockey suite and for supporting us, and they'll be supporting our intermission broadcasts as well. So thanks to them. And I'll be up here doing live reaction in between periods. And, of course, a post-game press conference coming up after the game as well. My last thing, we talked about that with Lukas Fischer, right? But, it's coming out now to tonight. Here we are. They talk about Lucas there again, kind of eating his words. He's probably going to be looking for some, just individually, he's got to be going, okay.
Oh yeah, I would.
Or is he thinking about that at all?
I would think a little bit probably. Just it's almost like one of those guarantees, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna beat them, and then it doesn't happen. So if he isn't thinking about it, I'd be shocked because it's a little bit of revenge in his own mind. It may not be out loud, but I'm sure it's in the back of his mind.
Right. We're seeing the referees come out onto the ice, and the pucks are out, so that means that the Sarnia Sting and Saginaw will be out here in just a moment getting things warmed up. Which
Sarnia
means...
natives tonight as well.
Yeah, okay.
Brody Najim and Josh Glavin, born in Sarnia.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The Najims they're a billet family.
Yep.
So congratulations to him.
Right. Let's go through the lines again. Just we kind of talked about Caden there, so move on to the other lines there that are set up for as well. Do you have that?
Yep, we got the second line. Like I said, it's super talented Kostic, Karimov, and Beckham Edwards.
Right.
And then the third line we have.
Well, Beckham Edwards. There's one that's already been standing out this year as well, right?
Yeah, no, certainly. Like I said, I think I mentioned this, but he was so talented in the draft. He kind of fell a little bit because everyone expected him to commit to college in the USHL. But they must have convinced him that this is going to be a winning, successful culture to be a part of. And I'm sure he might have been a first-round pick if he was a guarantee to come to the OHL. But that's someone who slipped in the draft, and I think we're going to see a lot out of him.
Yeah. Okay. And then the next lines.
We got Brown, DiOrio, and Doucette on the third line, actually.
Yeah.
A little shocked to see Brown slip down to the third line, but that's another skilled, hard-working line. And Chamberlain and Moses are the other forwards. They don't have a line on themselves.
Right.
Fisher.
Let's talk about Brown there for a minute, though. Like, he has really come along for this team. We've seen some hard playing out of him in some very distraught moments, for the Sarnia Sting, and he's been able to help turn that around. So, you talk about competition between Saginaw and Sarnia, but there's a little competition between the players on the same bench, and maybe that's Brown and Johnston, and sometimes, it's like getting the new worker at the roofing company, who's going to climb up the ladder and work hard, and that kind of brings out a little more effort from some of the other players.
Yeah, no, certainly friendly competition, like you said about Johnston, just earning a first-line spot. I'm sure nothing nothing malicious, but I'm sure a lot
No,
of these
no.
players are a little bit irked by getting pushed down the lineup when
Maybe.
you acquire a new player, and I would think that only motivates them to be better.
I would think, and I think the philosophy is, we keep going back to Letang philosophy, is show me.
Earn it.
Show me why you should be there and he shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, if Caden comes out and gets another goal, that's another point for his books that he deserves this first line spot.
Everybody's here to win, or at least they should be. And if they're not, then they shouldn't be here, right? You know.
Get with it or get lost.
Yeah.
I guess.
Carry on with the rest of the lines there.
Yeah, Fisher and Bodine are the first line D. Bridgewater and Young are second, and Houston Hurt and Nathan O'Meary are the third pair defensemen. James Barr is filling in as the seventh defenseman. See how much time he gets tonight.
Right. Well, let's talk about Mitch Young, though. I mean, there was somebody that we kind of thought might be a captain of this team.
Yeah, and he didn't even end up with an assistant.
Right. So interesting there. I mean, you never know what's going on behind closed doors at the end of the day, right? But there is something to be said for, again, even on the D line, it's like, let's see how this is going to play out. Let's see who we can put together. Start getting some some in sync going, if you will.
Yeah.
And maybe that's. I mean, there's so much going on behind the scenes. That's always one of the things people talk, and they think they got all the information, but they really don't, as to why the decisions were made. Outside looking in, we think we know everything looking down to those ice, right?
You can speculate as much as you want, but you're never going to have the true story.
Yeah, that's right. And who start between the pipes tonight, of course?
Nick Serzicia is starting tonight. Mallet played the last game against Saginaw last week, and I think he faced 42 shots. I know he let 6 goals in, but 42 shots is far too many to be allowed on your goalie. So more credit to him.
Right on. Well, it sounds like we're in for an exciting night of hockey here at the Progressive Auto Sales Arena. And thanks to all of you for joining us. Once again, we'll be back here on Sunday at about 1 o'clock to do our Beyond the Board session here.
I love the matinee games.
Yeah, they're fun, right? You know, like you see a lot more kids out running around doing stuff, and that's more of a family day, and that's always good to see. We'll be live again doing our intermission shows, and that's all I can say. There's a few more things I wanted to talk about, but I think I'll save it for our intermission show.
Okay.
So make sure you like and follow along, and we really appreciate all of you coming by to talk with us or watch with us and put up with us, whatever that looks like, right? Connor, thanks so much always for coming by.
Thanks for
and
having
thanks once again coming to you live from the Hughes Intelligence Hockey Suite. I'm David Burrows, and this is my friend Connor Burke. We will see you next time. Bye for now.
Go Sting, go.